Hello, family. Angela Cage here with Cage Collaborations LLC. And today I want to talk to you about a very powerful tool that everyone should have in their toolbox. And that tool is mindfulness. Mindfulness is a practice that I used to use often when I struggled with panic attacks. I used to have panic attacks, and they used to come to me at night when I would lay down to go to bed. I would close my eyes, and soon my eyes would be popping back open because my mind would just be constantly racing with all the thoughts of whatever was going on in my life or whatever I was concerned about. My mind would just keep racing with what if scenarios. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? I would worry about mundane things. My anxiety would wrap up about things that were coming up the next day. So I decided to use mindfulness to help tamp down that anxiety and stop those panic attacks. And I wanted to talk to you today because I had not a panic attack episode, but I had an episode today where I was overwhelmed, and I had to pull that tool out of my toolbox and use mindfulness in order to lower my anxiety. So what I did and what I used to do, well, let me start by telling you what I used to do. So when I would have those panic attacks, I would actually be laying in the bed. So I used mindfulness along with breathing. So what I would do is take a deep breath in and then focus on that breath. Feel it going in my lungs and actually focus on it. Feel it going down, expanding my lungs, feeling that. So I would focus on the sensation within my body, and then I would release that breath, and I would release it slowly. So, and with mindfulness, the key there is to be focused on what's happening in the moment. So you're focusing on that breath, focusing on how your body feels as you inhale, focusing on how your body feels as you exhale. And what I also used to do is feel the sensations in my body. So I would focus on my feet and I would wiggle my toes and focus my attention there. And then I would press my feet down into the bed and feel that sensation. And I would let my mind focus on the sensation going up my legs, going to my thighs, going to my stomach, coming up, and then up into my head. And I would do this so I could feel the tips of my fingers, because with mindfulness, the key is to draw your attention away from whatever is going on in your mind. So a draw is drawing your attention away from those anxious thoughts and really being present in the moment, feeling your hands. So this is something that I would do, feeling how that feels, feeling the sensation, concentrating on your breathing. And with mindfulness, it's not a one-time activity. So as I was practicing those mindfulness exercises in order to reduce my anxiety and be able to stop my panic attack, my mind would wander. So I'd be in the moment, focusing on my breathing, feeling the inhale, feeling the exhale, really focusing on that. And then my mind would start to spiral with, what if this? And oh, we were thinking about that. But when I recognized that my mind was wandering off, again, I would just bring it back to the breathing. Inhale and exhale and focus on that. And that really helped me. I practiced that. So anytime I felt that panic attack coming on and I was in awareness, to be able to go right into that mindfulness exercise, the breathing, the feeling, the sensation around me, that actually helped me get to the point where I could stop those panic attacks from happening. And I had a situation today, again, it was not a panic attack, but I had a feeling today at work where I was completely overwhelmed. Now, I went out of town and exercised some self-care, spent some time with family out of town, and really enjoyed myself. But when I got back, my email box was on tilt. And I recently have taken on some additional responsibilities at work. So it's like I'm having two roles that I have to fulfill. So I'm trying to balance the two roles and really have time management as far as that's concerned. But I was feeling really overwhelmed, really overwhelmed. Like I had competing priorities. So I had to just stop, and I decided to step away. I knew that I was feeling myself getting overwhelmed. So I decided to go ahead and take a walk. So I walked away from my desk and just walked around the floor. And while I was walking around the floor, I exercised mindfulness. I was aware of where I was in the moment. I inhaled and exhaled deeply, focusing on those breaths. And I was able to resettle my mind. And I did that for about 5 minutes. And I was able to go back to my desk and actually refocus and take care of the things that I had on my plate. Another thing that I like to do that I would like to offer you guys as far as mindfulness is concerned is called mantra mindfulness. And I still do this a lot because I am a perfectionist and I really have to tell my brain that I don't have to be perfect. It's okay. No one's perfect. I know I'm not perfect. But the way that I'm wired, I am wired to want to do everything perfectly, do everything right. So I actually have to do self talk, positive self talk to myself. And that is part of that mantra mindfulness that I practice. So, in addition to being in the moment, being fully present while I'm inhaling and exhaling, I will also say to myself, I do not have to have all the answers, and that is okay. I do not have to be perfect, and it is okay to make mistakes. These are the things that I have to say to myself in order to tamp down my anxiety. So I would encourage you all to do the mantra mindfulness, whatever you're struggling with, whatever you need to encourage yourself, whatever it is, just say that to yourself. And if you're in a place, because I even do it in public, if I feel myself, my anxiety wrapping up, I won't say it out loud, but I'll go ahead and take my deep breath in and release. And then in my mind, I'll tell myself, I do not have to have all the answers, and it's okay. I do not have to be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes as long as I learn from them. And I say this over and over again in my mind. When I'm by myself, I say it out loud. So find whatever works for you. But please exercise this mindfulness and do it in such a way that works for you. You can Google other mindfulness techniques, but please really take the time to try to do it. When you first start doing it, it will feel weird. It may feel like it has no effect on you. There's no benefit for you, but just stick with it. Another thing that mindfulness can work for is if you are preparing to go before um, a panel or a person for an interview. Before you go into that interview, just take a few minutes to do some mindfulness. Breathe in deeply, focus on that breath, feel how your body is expanding, and exhale and focus on the breath as it comes out. And that will help you just recenter yourself, tamp down any nervousness that you may feel, and you can present your best self within that interview. So it works in a variety of areas, but I encourage you, practice mindfulness and do it in a way that works for you. Whatever you need to do, tailor it to your own needs. Whatever it is that you find is most beneficial to you, but put this in your toolbox. And then whenever you feel yourself angry, upset, overwhelmed, you know, anxious, having bouts of sadness, when you recognize it, and that's the key to recognize it, then you can go and dig in that toolbox and pull the tools out that help you get into a better state. And again, mindfulness is a great tool to have in your toolbox. So practice mindfulness when you're not in a state of upset or a state of anxiousness, just to get in the habit of being able to use it. And then when you recognize that you are in that state where you actually need to dig in and get a tool, reach in there and try that mindfulness. And let me know how it works for you. Because you know I want you all to win. So win with refocusing and settling yourself with mindfulness. Make it a great day. I love you all always.